Hold on to your hats, folks, because when Donald Trump met Joe Rogan, the internet almost broke. It was a match made in, well, somewhere. The former president, never one to shy away from a microphone, sat down with the podcasting giant for a conversation that careened from UFOs to the 2020 election faster than you can say hydroxychloroquine. This wasn't your typical Sunday morning political show. This was Trump unleashed, unfiltered, and riffing on everything under the sun, with Rogan playing the role of intrigued listener, occasionally steering the conversation but mostly letting Trump be Trump. It was a fascinating glimpse into the mind of the 45th president, and it sent shockwaves through the media landscape. Why all the fuss? Because this wasn't just an interview, it was a calculated move by Trump to bypass the so-called fake news media and take his message directly to Rogan's massive audience. Love him or hate him, you can't deny Trump's savvy when it comes to understanding the power of media, especially the kind that doesn't involve pesky fact-checkers. This wasn't just a couple of guys shooting the breeze. This was a strategic media play with potentially huge implications for the future of American politics. Buckle up, America, because things are about to get interesting. Trump being Trump, the 2020 election loomed large over the conversation. Despite losing to Joe Biden, Trump continued to cast doubt on the legitimacy of the results, echoing the claims of widespread voter fraud that have become a rallying cry for his base. He repeated his grievances about mail-in ballots and alleged irregularities, offering no concrete evidence but plenty of fiery rhetoric. Rogan, to his credit, did push back at times, questioning the lack of evidence for Trump's claims. But the former president remained undeterred, insisting that the election had been stolen from him. This wasn't just about relitigating the past, it was about sowing seeds of doubt about the integrity of the American electoral process itself. The conversation took an even more bizarre turn when Trump addressed accusations of being a dictator. With a straight face, he denied any such aspirations, even suggesting that he's actually not a very strong person. This, of course, from the man who once declared he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose any voters. The irony seemed lost on Trump, but it wasn't lost on anyone else. His claims of being a victim of a rigged system while simultaneously downplaying his own power were a masterclass in Trumpian doublespeak. It was a stark reminder that we're living in a world where objective truth is increasingly elusive and where politicians can say anything no matter how outlandish and find an audience willing to believe them. If you thought a discussion about the 2020 election and dictatorship claims was wild, just wait until you hear about the UFOs. Yes, you read that right, UFOs. Trump, never one to shy away from a good conspiracy theory, hinted at the possibility of extraterrestrial life, suggesting that he knows things about the topic that he can't share publicly. He didn't elaborate on what these things might be, but he did say with a knowing smirk that it's a very interesting subject. Was he serious? Was he messing with Rogan? Or was it just another example of Trump throwing out red meat to his base, knowing that any mention of aliens is sure to set conspiracy theorists' hearts aflutter? The conversation then veered sharply back to earth, with Trump taking aim at the Green New Deal, calling it a socialist plot to destroy the American economy. He reiterated his support for fossil fuels and dismissed concerns about climate change as overblown, and in a truly bizarre moment, Trump expressed his admiration for Confederate General Robert E. Lee, praising his military prowess, while conveniently ignoring the whole treason and slavery thing. It was a stark reminder of Trump's tendency to view history through a distorted lens, one that often glorifies Confederate figures while downplaying the horrors of slavery. The interview with Rogan wasn't just about the content, it was about the platform. By choosing to appear on Rogan's podcast, Trump was making a deliberate decision to bypass traditional media outlets and speak directly to Rogan's massive and diverse audience. Rogan's podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, is one of the most popular in the world, regularly drawing millions of listeners. Unlike traditional news programs, which are often seen as biased or out of touch, Rogan has cultivated an image of being a neutral arbiter of truth, someone who's willing to listen to all sides of an issue. This, of course, is part of Rogan's appeal, but it also makes him a dangerous platform for someone like Trump, who's a master of manipulating the media to his advantage. By appearing on Rogan's show, Trump was able to spread his message to millions of people who might not otherwise hear it, all without having to face tough questions from journalists or be held accountable for his words. This is the future of media, for better or worse. In an age of social media and fragmented audiences, traditional gatekeepers like newspapers and television networks are losing their power. Politicians like Trump are increasingly turning to alternative platforms like podcasts and YouTube channels to reach voters directly, bypassing the filters of traditional media and the scrutiny of fact-checkers.